So guys, welcome to part 2 of this epic game between Hazed and TypeReaL now. Basically, I apologise for doing this in 2 parts, but basically, I thought I could hear a really strange noise coming from my house, like while I was casting, which is a bit peculiar. And I went through and found out that there was a pigeon in my living room. It just flew in the door and was like, I'm a pigeon in your living room. So kind of had to go and deal with that. It was also good because I got to have a break from this epically long game. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this is pretty awesome so far. It is pretty damn good. I mean, essentially, what are we going to do? Well, on the one hand, we've got Hazed, who's got 11 Broodlords, 7 Infestors, and 13 Corruptors. And he's up against 5 Archons, 18 Stalkers, 7 Carriers, and a Mothership. Now, both these players are in a bit of the awkward situation. I mean, more so Hazed. Hazed is in a really awkward situation where, well, my Broodlords can only shoot down, and my Corruptors can only shoot up. So he's got to get really the perfect composition to be able to deal with this. If he gets too many Corruptors, obviously the Stalker Archons, they're going to mess up with the Broodlords. If he gets too many Broodlords, then the Carriers and Mothership are going to trounce him. So that's a really tough thing to do, and of course, Real, he's in a good spot. He's got a lot of carriers and he's got his Mothership. He just needs to really... Well, his only concern are these Corruptors. He's doing a great job of base management. Both of these players are struggling on the base. Hazed has got 1 mining base, which he's defending incredibly well, using infested terrains very effectively. Meanwhile, though, TypeReaL, he's got 1 mining base. He could also secure this one if he wanted to. And really, essentially, if both players are on 1 mining base, TypeReaL is the one who's going to come out on top. He's just looking at the moment for a good angle to attack. So let's speed this up a little bit because, I mean, both these players are just, well, Hazed, he's happy sitting there. He's like, I've got to defend 1 spot and I'm going to defend it well. Real, on the other hand, he's got to try and get into a good way to assault this army, but there's just so many units on the field. I mean, those 16 Corruptors are going to melt the Carriers and Mothership if they're not taken out carefully, and the Broodlords are going to melt the ground army. So this is going to be quite difficult to engage, and of course, obviously, Broodlords, unlike Carriers, they can shoot Broodlings all day, they're free. The Carriers, on the other hand, if they lose the Interceptors to either Fungal Growths or even the, well, Fungal Growths, the Corruptors, or, no, that's all of it, or even Infested Terrans, I forgot to add those, then he's got problems. But still, these Corruptors, not quite sure what they're doing here. They are getting themselves out of position, which isn't too great. We've got a little Roach counterattack trying to come and deal with this, but still, Hazed, he's not got enough stuff to really be a threat. This army of TypeReaL is still quite mobile. These Corruptors are the threat, though. Those Corruptors need to go down ASAP if Real is going to pull through here. Hazed, on the other hand, he needs to happily sit here mining for as long as possible and get a very good engagement like that. But obviously, this Mothership, brilliant. I mean, the only option I could really see Hazed going for is getting a lot of Overseers in with this army and just trying to use them to soak up some of the damage. He doesn't want to be getting engagements like this where he loses Corruptor after Corruptor, because while he's getting 6 at a time now, he can't afford to keep that up for long, especially off 1 mining base. Likewise, though, we will see the Real. He's not really getting anything, he's just getting up another base. This is the best choice he could make. Hazed, he's also on a 2nd mining base, trying to get up a 3rd, but the Observer has seen that, and now looks like the Real is really going to defend this area heavily. He doesn't want to lose the space, but obviously Broodlords then come to sit up here, and they can engage down on that, and that looks exactly what Hazed is planning on doing. This could be really effective. The Carriers are there, though. The Corruptors are also there. This could be really, really close, and neither player really wants to go for it. They don't want to risk a cost-ineffective engagement, because when you're struggling for mining bases, you want to engage as cost-effectively as you possibly can, regardless of your race, regardless of if you're ahead or behind in terms of army or tech or whatever. You want to engage as efficiently as you can. +3 Protoss air weapons coming out now. I genuinely don't remember the last time I saw that upgrade. Just going to speed things up yet again, so do bear with me. We're going to see lots of little possible engagements coming through. Great moving the Spine and Spore Crawlers. That is a great, great decision. Defend this base. This base is where your future money is going to be, where you're going to need to keep this game going on. And currently it looks like Real, he is putting ahead, getting 10 Zealots out. That's a bit of an unusual choice, but it's a great way to deal with expansions such as this one. And again, it's punishing Hazed for having an immobile army, but obviously Hazed can come in with the Broodlords, and those Broodlords are going to move forward. The Corruptors are back. What is the Corruptor count at now? 25 Corruptors and 11 Broodlords. This is pretty sick. All those carriers need to be careful. This base is really quite essential, but Hazed, he's lost his second mining base, and he's actually mined out this center expansion. So, put simply, it is now no mining bases for Hazed against one and one under very heavy siege. So, Real is definitely pulling ahead at the moment, but Hazed has got a huge bang. +3 Protoss air armor. I don't think I've ever seen that upgrade come in a game. Like, in a competitive game, I don't think I've ever seen that upgrade. So, that just shows how awesome this is becoming. Speeding things up yet again. Let's see, just how really long this goes on for. I can give away that it does go for a long time, but here we go. We've got a huge big engagement coming here. The mothership does go down, but at what cost? A lot of corruptors getting taken out there. These carriers are in very, very high numbers. Also, the Archons do quite well against corruptors. If we look at the corruptor count, it was up at about 25 if I recall, so at least 10 corruptors taken out there, which is not fun. Meanwhile, there is a Zerglin counterattack trying to come in here. Long range mining going on for Hazed, but just look at this army creep across the map. Obviously, Real's lost this base, so he just wants to deny expansions. A lot of drones are going to get picked off here, and that base will not be able to go up for Hazed at the moment. These Zealots, they're just sitting up at the very top position, making sure no bases can go up there. And essentially, Hazed is trying a long distance mine, which isn't the best choice because he's down to 16 drones, and as they all start going down, that is just really, really bad times because they cost money to rebuild. And while money is something Hazed does have, he doesn't have an income at the moment, so that is definitely not a great plan. And a couple of carriers being very, very close to getting caught off guard. Don't want to engage over air because then the Archons can't get involved. A storm does go out, that carrier does stay up. That is absolutely essential. Any carrier losses are huge for Real at this moment in the game. And Real is trying to get up this 6th base again. Surprised he hasn't tried to take this middle base, because with this army, he could defend this quite nicely in my opinion. And essentially income is what he needs. He's nowhere near maxed out. He needs a lot of gas as well. So we will see a very slow approach of spines and spores, but while they're burrowing is a great time to deal with them. And a good fungal growth goes off, gets 2 carriers, but the corruptors are going to be able to get down, and that is massive. Real is going to lose. Well, he's down to what? Let's actually have a count. 5 carriers. That is not very many at all, and that actually knocked his supply down considerably. If we look at the army supply, it's 126 to 92, so Real does have the army supply advantage, which generally favours the Protoss player. I mean, Zerg actually have to have more army supply to engage Protoss army effectively, but if we look at what it's engaged in, well, these 6 carriers against 16 corruptors don't do too well, and the ground army is just going to get decimated by all those broods. And Hazed, he took our base and is building one of his own, which is always a good choice. So again, let's speed things up just a little bit until we really get some more going on. These observers just helping pick up stuff, and the corruptors do actually try to come in here, but look at them all get taken out. And at what cost? He only picked off, I think, 1 carrier, but lost the majority of his corruptors, which Hazed can't actually afford to build any more. And now this is starting to look very, very much in favour of TypeReaL. He's just sitting here picking off creep tumors. He needs to secure more bases. This base is looking very, very promising to him. But there's just a lot of spines around everywhere, and there's still a lot of units, and Real does have to be careful however he chooses to engage. Meanwhile, well, we've just got this going in this endless dance of stalemate where neither player does want to go for it. Well, some changelings coming in just to get a good look on the army, what's its position, what's there, some good storms going off pretty much everywhere, and essentially this is all pretty much stalemate-ish for the moment. Just speeding things along, just seeing where they're going to be engagements. Some Stalkers and Archons getting taken down, that's not too big, but losing High Templar, that is not something you want to happen. And still, this is just pretty fun times, but a new mothership out. This is critical. This could really change the battle, because now a lot of detection's needed. There's also the fact that a vortex could go down. There's not enough energy for a vortex yet, but it will shortly be available. And a big vortex on half this army would just make it very, very easy for Real to deal with it. Even long-range mining gas now, that's something you don't see too often. But this base is getting secured, and essentially, if he can hold up any and all bases, Real is in a great spot because he's got the money. And we're going to see these corruptors doing a little dance, in out, shake it all about, not getting any shots off though, which is of course the essential thing that needs to happen without losing any. And still, we're just looking at this big long stalemate, but I think Real is effectively in a position where he's like, well, you can mine this base as long as you want to. I'm quite happy. A couple of corruptors are pretty much sacrificing themselves. That's not a good choice at all. 2 more getting rebuilt straight away. But if you're in this position, you don't want to be sacrificing units for nothing. The 6th-ish base, what would be a 6th base for real, is up now. But this map nearly completely mined out at this stage of the game, and really at some point this has just got to come down to a big engagement. But real, he does not want to engage here. Look at all those spores and spines. That would not favour him in the slightest. He essentially just wants Hazed to come at him. And that's something I don't think that's actually going to happen. Hazed, he's happy sitting here. He knows his strength is in his slow immobile army. So why on earth not? Just wait. Eventually Real will have to get bored or think he's got a good spot to engage from, and that's when he'll go for it. But this could be a big mistake. That Broodlord army is moving away from the only mining base, and this could very, very easily allow Real to come and clear out all of this static defense and take out the base as well. It's all about whether Hazed wants to try and deny this mining base of Real or not, and it looks like he's going to try and do it, but that means the Real is also going to try and look to go. But the Corruptor's staying back, good choice, exposing the Broodlords. And it does actually look like Real is going to lose the space. He should have just gone for it in my opinion. But no, he pulls back, and that is an amazingly bad decision. One more volley of those Broodlords would have killed that base, and that would have been a massive, massive win there. But still, we've got this Ender starting. We're already into over an hour long game now, so this is pretty sick. I do apologise if anyone's getting extremely frustrated at me accelerating the game, but I'm trying to keep this in a reasonable length for people watching. And here we go, massive fungal growth goes off. That was an amazing fungal growth, getting so many units there, some great feedbacks, and we've got big engagement. The entire ground army of TypeReaL though is getting taken out very, very fast. Some good storms go off. But obviously the Corruptors, they're spread out from the Broodlords. The Broodlords are getting injured, but not getting taken out. The Queens have got a lot of energy for transfuses. And if we look at the loss tab, that actually brought Hazed into the lead in terms of resources lost. Meanwhile though, we've got another assault on this top base. Real has now lost it. That puts him down to no mining bases, although he is trying to secure the center. And well, this is all getting pretty crazy now. We've got the carriers coming in, and suddenly I'm feeling like, actually, even though Supply would say Real is ahead, that it's actually Hazed. I mean, he's just got so many Corruptors. He doesn't want to do things like that, though. He wants to engage the carriers directly, not get caught up taking fire from interceptors. Now, really, this is all going to be ever so close. That Spore Crawler just gets completely annihilated. The ground army rebuild quite a lot by Real. He's so short on gas, though, getting one more carrier out, and still, this is just so damn close. And a vortex does go off. It's a bit more of a defensive vortex to try and allow him to get in a position where he can pick off this base, but still just so many units everywhere. The Corruptors, they are coming, they're looking, they want to pick off that mothership, but are they going to be able to? Who knows right now. And it looks like a couple of carriers are out of position, but no detection in with this could really do with an Overseer there. But here we go, the Corruptors do move forward, don't actually get any volleys off. This center base secured by TypeReaL now, and this is just so crazy. We've got slowly advancing creep and spines to try and stop this base from going up for Real. I'm referring to all the bases of this base now because there's just so many, it's hard to count. Some great feedbacks going off absolutely everywhere. The Broodlords are still up though. Where are the Corruptors? They're coming in, the Corruptors are coming, but they all get caught in a vortex. That is a big loss. The Broodlord army could now get picked off so easily. But essentially, what Real needs to do is get out of there, because that many Corruptors could still deal with this force nicely. He wasn't able to pick off the Broodlords. He's trying to get the best he can. A Storm goes off, but it does hardly any damage. But the Corruptors, they're moving forward yet again. Some more Storms go off, and it looks like these Corruptors are not having any of it. Just look at how quickly that mothership melts. But the Corruptors, they're not actually attacking, they're just milling around. That is such a bad decision. If Hazed had just engaged there, I think he could have come off better. But suddenly this is looking very, very good for Real again. And to be honest, I think TypeReaL could engage his army head on now. He's just got so much stuff. He's got a lot of Zealots which can deal the damage and soak up damage. He just needs to kill off those Corruptors as soon as he can. That's the essential thing. Just speeding up this replay again just a bit, just to see, well, where are we actually going to go? We're already up to like an hour and 10 minutes, so I'm sure you're all very thankful that I have been speeding it up, otherwise you would not be having too much fun after watching quite so long of just units moving. This center base completely mined out, long distance maining. Hazed very confused where the money's from. Well, Hazed, I'm happy to tell you from the future, Real, he's run out. He's long distance mining, that is it. You've got a mining base, be happy. Just be sad that Zerg can't engage too cost effectively on only one base. A good burrow of some Zerglings there, that is irritating as hell. Is there even an observer on the field anywhere? Not that I can see. Let's take a look. There is one. Who knows where it is? Here it comes, rapidly on its way over. Obviously observer speed finish as well. Doesn't want any of those Zerglings sitting around. That'd be very, very frustrating. So yet again, let's speed this up, and we're just going to have endless engagements, but it looks like Hazed, he's had enough of this Protoss army running around. Going to try and get a good engagement, but those Stalkers, they do get in there, and now a 50 supply advantage here for Real, who's getting more High Templar out. He's getting a bit low on Archons, actually. I'd like to see a couple more Archons in the mix, just to really help. The Mothership, of course, down. Or is it down? I'm sure it is somewhere. Nope, it is down, but here we go. Here comes a big engagement. A lot of those Corruptors are getting taken out. Broodlords are trying to come in to deal their little bit of damage and get in on the action, but they may not have as an easy time as Hazed thought they would. More Corruptors just getting picked off, and Hazed cannot afford to be losing Corruptors for absolutely nothing. They're not even getting any shots off, but the Broodlords, they're coming forward, and essentially now Real, he is completely cornered. And that is not a good position. That means he's got to come through this army to get out, and that is not what he wants. I'd love to see some counterattacks coming in with just a couple of Zerglings would essentially wreck this. There's no static defense at all for Real though at the moment. These carriers are trying to pick off a couple of Broodlords, but the Corruptors are picking off the Interceptors. And I mean, it'll get to a point where no Interceptors can even be afforded to be made, but that was a good little takedown of a carrier there. That was a good trade by Hazed, and Hazed, he's kind of the underdog at the moment. What's the army supply like? 86 to 121, so that in itself is very, very much favouring Real. But it's just the army composition. This all-air Zerg is actually really difficult for Protoss to deal with, because if he builds air units such as carriers to deal with the Broodlords, the Corruptors absolutely wreck him. Essentially, it's just not too fun of a time, and Storm isn't even too good against Corruptors, but we've got some more volleys coming off here. We've got the Stalkers trying to pick off any Corruptors they can, and still, this Protoss force is completely cornered. He can't get out of there easily. He's got cornered by an immobile force, which is never something you want, because it means you're going to end up in a head-on engagement or losing little bits here, there, and everywhere. Just trying to fiddle with his speed. Another carrier goes down for pretty much free. That was a good little engagement by Hazed there, getting everything he can, and now the Protoss army is just pretty much going for it, sending a lot of Zealots in to take out this Great Aspire and Spire, except the Zealots seem to be a little bit confused of what they're meant to be doing. But essentially now, what do you do as the Zerg player in this situation? Do you send the Broodlords back to try and deal with it? Well, you can't. You've got to worry about this army. So, in which case, you've got to stay there and deal with that and let your base die, which is never ever fun. But still, some good feedback going off on, I think it's Overseers. That's the only thing with them. No, the Corruptors don't use energy. So, who knows what they're off. But here we go, a good little engagement coming down, more Storms. And this is just completely crazy game. More Storms going off, but was that... Are there even any... No. I'm sure I saw a transfuse. I must be imagining things here, because there was no queens on the field unless it was taken out. And essentially, I'm just trying to work out what's going to happen. The carriers are getting involved. Don't want to be fighting over air though, because obviously the Stalkers can't get involved. And essentially, Real, he wants everything that can shoot up, hitting those Corruptors, because they're the threat. Another Broodlord comes down. The Stalkers do come in behind, and now this is really it. This is a big final engagement. The Broodlords are taken down though, and now this means no matter how few Stalkers you have, you are going to win. The Great Aspire is not there anymore. There's no hives, so now essentially it's just a case of, can Real pick off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spines and win the game? Well, yes he could, and there's the GG from Hazed. So that, my friends, was a completely crazy game. I'm going to give you the satisfaction of watching it till the end, wherever that may be. And there Hazed leads the game, so I do hope you enjoyed that. Sorry for skipping through it, but as you can see, it was nearly an hour and 20 minutes long, so you don't want to watch all that. I'm going to go and check my house to make sure there's no more pigeons in it, because that always puts a downer on the day. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please give the video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my YouTube. That's all on screen now. I get casts up daily. What else? Follow me on Twitter, which is also on there. Again, it's cool to interact with you awesome people, and leave any comments or criticisms about the cast below. That would be great. But most of all, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you again. Bye for now.